All right, welcome back to another episode of Premier Period. This is episode 6. We have so much to talk about. The question is today, will Arsenal ever lose again? The Gunners decidedly beat Burnley 2-0 and show no signs of stopping anytime soon. A draw for Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. What does this mean for either of the teams, or does it mean anything significant at all? And West Ham looked like a brand new team, or so it seems. But is it a little too late for Nuno and the boys? All of this and more coming up on Premier Period. All right, we're back with another episode. Today we've got Chris and Connor on the pod. Chris, how's it going? Welcome back. How's it feel to be back again?
Great to be back.
We're excited to have you.
Good.
Thanks for filling in for us.
Did you speak English?
That's perfect English.
Perfect.
I am proper. Going to talk about proper football today.
That's right. The real English. We took your advice to heart, and I have ever since. I've tried to stop using the term EPL.
I know.
It is no longer in my lexicon.
It's been really good. I watched last week's, and I was like, yeah, I'm proud of you guys. You're picking up on what I've been saying. And
Well, hang on. You sent me a text.
Well, I did.
About one of our hosts using the wrong term again. Who were you talking about?
Oh, Ridge?
Yeah, Ridge.
Yeah, well, he keeps coming up with this word. I don't know what it means. Offsides. I mean,
Offsides.
I don't know what that is.
There's no S on it, people.
It's not plural.
We did get a comment on, I think it was one of the socials, that said that was their biggest nitpick about when Americans talk about the game is if you use S for offside. So
Yeah, don't do it. It's like one of them things. So what we talk about? It's an American accent. It's putting that S on the end of it. It's plural.
Roll
Offside.
tide.
It's offside. There's no plural about it. So
Roll
yeah.
tide.
So
Roll Tide. Exactly. If I said they go, hey, roll tides, y'all.
well, we've got a good episode coming up. Let's start with what happened in Premier League this weekend, everything you missed. Obviously, there's one match going on as we're recording right now, but we'll hit everything else, and then we'll get right into the stories. So here we go. Quick pitch as fast as I can. Here's what we've got, all right? You've got Welbeck does well with 1, and Gomez goes for 2 as Brighton beats Leeds 2-0, or 3-0, I'm sorry. Gyökeres and Rice score early in the first half, where Arsenal show yet again another display of dominance as they shut out Burnley 2-0. Mateta with a mighty header, and the first on goal from Collins of Brentford puts Palace back on track with a 2-0 win. Can things get any worse for Wolves as they get scored on in the 9th minute, then go down to 10 men in the 36th minute, and then concede 1 goal and score an own goal for the second half? They lose to Fulham 3-0. Casemiro off a corner for Man U in the first, followed by 2 back-to-back goals for Forest right after the half. It looked like Forest would get the win, but Ahmad volleyed another corner in for a really fun 2-2 draw. João Pedro for Chelsea makes it count as he capitalizes off of Van de Ven's mistake. Had it not been for Vicario and keeper, we might have had an American football score rather than an English one as Chelsea wins 1-0. Liverpool is starting to look like Liverpool again as Salah scores late in the first, and Gravenberch, that's right, scores shortly after in the second, beating Villa with what looked like great ease 2-0. West Ham, Newcastle, and Nuno and the crew get a big win versus Newcastle. It was Murphy early for the Magpies, but a powerful one from Paqueta and an own goal from Botman and a late one from Susek give Hammers a heavy-handed victory 3-1. And then Erling went full Gwen Stefani, and Holland backed Girl as he went 2 for 2, topping Bournemouth's goal in the first half. A second half strike from O'Reilly put it away from Man City as they beat Bournemouth 3-1. And then we obviously have Sunderland and Everton that are playing right now.
What's scoring that one right now?
1-1.
1-1.
1-1 in the 67th minute.
So we'll see how that one ends up. Connor, give us some updates on the table.
Toffees. Let's go to the Toffees.
That's what, you hate Sunderland that much?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right, so here's where we stand as of right now, and this is with the game that is going on. So, again, it is 1-1 between Sunderland and Everton in the 67th minute as we are recording this. So, at the top of the table, we have Arsenal, who sit 6 points clear. So, they're doing pretty good. All right, so moving up this week, we have Man City and Holland. Okay, and third, we have Liverpool, who has moved up. As of right now, if the game was to stay exactly where it is, Sunderland would end up in 4th place. Moving down would be Bournemouth in 5th. In 6th, you have, what is the saying that Ridge always says, glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspurs? That's so stupid. They sit in 6th. 7th, we have Chelsea. 8th, Man United. I still can't believe Newcastle is below Man United, but we'll get there later on. 9th, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has moved up from last week. 10th is Brighton. Moving down is Villa in 11th, and then Brentford also moving down 12th. And then, of course, you have Newcastle United in 13th, moving down. Come on, you were not dancing like that yesterday.
No.
14th, we have Everton. 15th, Fulham, who has moved up a little bit. Leeds, who has moved down to 16th. 17th, we have Burnley. And then in relegation zone, we have West Ham at 18th, Forest in 19th, and your Wolves sitting in 20th. Well, of course they are. They haven't won.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious at this point. So I think we just jump right into the stories. All right. So here's what I saw this weekend. You guys can add as we go. First thing I wanted to talk about, obviously we would be remiss not to talk about Arsenal and their display of dominance right now. So the question I have on the table is, when will Arsenal lose again? So the first thing I want to talk about is just Arsenal's display of dominance. I did some stat searching this weekend to kind of see, okay, obviously I know they're winning, but what does this look like as far as statistically? And so this is what I found out, all right? So listen to this. Arsenal is leading the league in these following categories. Goals conceded, this is for the average over the entire season. Goals conceded at 0.3. Clean sheets, they have 7. They're leading the lead in touches in the opposition box by like 20 or 30 touches at 343. And their corners, they have 73 corners. And obviously, we know, as we said last week, they're scoring on like 60% of those. So, and then just looking at last weekend, they only allowed 3 shots on goal from Burnley, and they are 1 clean sheet away from the club record for scoring consecutive shutouts. So, obviously, it's not just, on both sides of the ball is what I'm seeing. You guys have any thoughts on just overall on Arsenal's dominance?
Well, I wanted to add one thing that you said. So as of right now, they sit with, I think, 7 clean sheets in a row. I saw this.
Is it 7 in a row?
Yeah, 7 in a row.
In all competitions or just
I think
Premier League?
it's all competitions, because this stat includes tomorrow. So if they were to get a clean sheet tomorrow in the Champions League, it would be 8 in a row, obviously. But that would equal, or that would make them tie a record for their team of having like the most clean sheets. So it being 8, that would be 100. It hasn't happened in 122 years. Sorry, that was like a lot of words to get out, and it did not sound good at all. But the last time they had 8 clean sheets in a row was 122 years ago. So they will match that. And so if they get a clean sheet tomorrow and then again this weekend, I guess they'll beat that record. So I think that's pretty impressive.
I mean, that's the conversation that I wanted to have today of what you guys think of. What do you think? Obviously, they're an impressive team. We can't deny that they have something special going on. But my question is, do you think that it's their offense or their defense that's more spectacular? What do you think, Chris? Arsenal's offense or defense? What's better?
I mean, well, Arsenal pretty much hit the ground running. So the table right now, quarter way in. So we just started the second quarter of the season. So things are starting to take shape. So what we're looking at is we've got the 3 front runners. To me, is who's first, second, and third. So title is between Arsenal and Liverpool City. I don't see anyone else kind of really challenging that. So what Arsenal have done at this point is they lost against Liverpool second game of the season.
I think that's right.
But what they've done since and gone on from there, I mean, we almost beat them, but they scraped through and turned that one round 2-1. But they are smooth right now. They've got what's going on. Their midfield is pretty dominant. I mean, you mentioned it before. You've got Saka up there, Gyökeres. So they're running on all cylinders. They look good. They look comfortable. So the pressure's on City and Liverpool now to make sure that 6 points doesn't turn into 9 or 12. Because at this point, they haven't won anything yet. Like
Yeah.
they haven't run away with it.
No.
It's still perfectly within distance. But the pressure's on City and Liverpool to perform and not drop anymore, and the pressure's off Arsenal a little bit at this point.
Yeah.
Now, what they'll run into if it stays 6 points is how many years have they finished second, and that's when the mind games start to get in their heads a little bit.
I've thought about that a lot.
Here we go again, because I think it was 3 years ago where Arsenal had ran away with it at this point of the season and then lost it in the last couple of games of the season to City. That plays a part in people's minds. So the pressure will be there at some point for Arsenal. Right now, though, they can relax a little bit and say, hey, all we've got to do is keep doing what we're doing, and then the pressure's on City and Liverpool to make sure we can go on do it. But yeah, so what they're doing is they're just basically they're playing at their best.
Yeah.
Whereas other teams have still got trying to work things out. They're still trying to rebuild. Arsenal look right now like they're kind of peaking and running flat out.
Yeah, it seems like every piece that should be working is working, whereas all the other clubs, there's gaps that they are trying to fill. Yes. There's pieces that they're trying to fit together. And from day one, with the exception of, the one skid against Liverpool, they had what seems like a pretty efficient machine that's just working, firing on all cylinders. One of the things that I noticed as I was watching is I know that Gyökeres seems to be, I guess as a striker, he's going to be the person that people think of as, he's the key piece of this puzzle. They brought him in this summer. He's been the difference maker. But I was looking at the stats, and it actually seems like Rice in the midfield.
I'd say Declan Rice is a huge part.
Yeah, he seems to be the center. I know he's the center mid, right? So everything seems to just be flowing through him. He's distributing the ball. He's kind of their key player right now. Connor, do you have any thoughts on whether or not you think what's more impressive to you, their offense or their defense?
In my opinion, as of right now, it's the defense. Raya, who's sitting in goal, he's doing a great job. But the thing is like really the ball's not really ever getting to him that much. It's more of the fact of that back line are doing a fantastic job of stopping it before it even gets close. So I think like they just obviously they just beat Burnley, was it 2-0? I think Burnley only had 3 shots. I don't even know if all those were on goal. And so
I don't think so. I think it was 3 shots total.
Now, of course, I say that. Is Burnley at the top of the pack? No.
Right.
Do they have just amazing strikers and people to put the ball in the back of the net? No. So, but at the same time, I think the defense is doing a fantastic job. But kind of going back to that is I think Rice and everyone on the team is doing a great job of getting involved in goals. So, like, for example, Gabriel, he's got at least 1 or 2 goals this year. He had an assist that was based off of a corner kick this weekend. And so I think that's their biggest thing is that they have so many players that are involved in the goal and getting goals.
Yeah, there's so many weapons across the board that you can't – I feel like right now teams are having a hard time game planning against them because they don't know where to look. In every direction you look, there's somebody who can be a threat, can score, something like that. You said something about defense that I wanted to mention as I was looking through stats this weekend. So, like you said, Raya is rarely tested, but he still ranks 3rd. Their keepers rank 3rd in saves per game. And so essentially you're trying to score against 2 brick walls because you've got the clean sheets of the defense and obviously the keeper's part of that, but then a keeper who's also making great saves and standing at the top of the leaderboard. So as impressive as it's hard to say what's better, their offense or their defense, because everything is just firing on all cylinders. So then the next question to me becomes, is it too early to call this a runaway? I know we're a quarter way into the season, but what are your guys' thoughts? Just something to think about. Is this Arsenal's championship to lose? Is it their title to lose? Or is somebody else going to take it from them? What are y'all's thoughts?
I would say for sure, but I'm going to let Chris answer because I feel like he'll go more in depth on this. And I think he also kind of just answered it a second ago.
Yeah, so right now at 6 points, no, it's not a runaway. It's 2 games away. A month ago, everyone was saying that Liverpool were running away with it. Then they dropped to 7th in the matter of 4 games.
Yeah.
So, 6 points can be caught in two games. Once you get to 12 points around Christmas area and they've got a 12, 15-point lead, you can start saying, yeah, okay, they're running away with it. But
So you won't know, but you have a pretty good idea about. We'll have a pretty good idea about Christmas of who's going to be where in the table. I mean, you could at least.
you'll have a better shape.
Yeah.
And then from there, anything can happen. They usually, there's very few teams that have been 20th at Christmas and survived the drop.
Gotcha.
That's usually kind of like the kind of sting point. Newcastle had a 15-point lead in 96 over Man United. And at Christmas, it was a 15-point lead. We were sailing under Kevin Keegan, and we wound up losing it.
So you said something about taking shape. One of the things that I noticed, I was also looking at who they've played compared to who they have coming up.
Yeah.
Because the question is, to me, the question becomes not when, will they lose, but when will they lose? Because eventually, I don't think they'll go undefeated throughout the rest of the season. Somebody's going to beat them. So just listen to this and let's take some thoughts on this, all right? So their last 5 matches, they've played Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, Palace, and Burnley, all right? They've done well in all of those games for the most part, right? And now upcoming, they have Sunderland, Tottenham, Chelsea, Brentford, and Villa. I feel like for the most part, no disrespect to either of the teams that we follow.
Yeah.
You're talking most of these teams sit midway through the table to the lower half of the table. Who is going to be their next actual challenge and put up a fight against them that's going to be, a chance of giving them their first loss in a long time? What do y'all think?
I think the 2 big ones is Tottenham and Chelsea. But the question for me is whenever that Tottenham-Arsenal game takes place, which Tottenham are they going to face? If it's the Tottenham from this past weekend, Arsenal's going to run away with it. But if it's the Tottenham from a couple weeks back where they were firing on all cylinders, I think Tottenham could easily give them a run for their money, at least draw it. And Chelsea kind of the same way. Chelsea has looked pretty good, especially I don't know. I keep meaning to look this up of when Palmer's supposed to be back. If Palmer's back by then, I think there's a good shot that Chelsea could beat them. But still, in my opinion, I think out of those two games, I still think Arsenal has the upper hand.
Yeah,
So
I agree. It's hard to bet against them right now just because of how well they're playing. But what do you think, Chris? Is there anybody that stands a chance against them in these next few weeks?
So, I mean, you've got the two London derby games will be Chelsea and Tottenham. They're always hard to call. So either one of those, both of them, definitely could have a shot. I think Chelsea Arsenal will be a good game.
yeah,
I think Chelsea will fancy them. Spurs right now they're on a little bit of a dip, so they might be licking their wounds a little bit and trying to recover. But then Arsenal will be a great game for them to bounce back and recover. So going back to what you're saying, they've had a bit of an easy run right now. But what makes this season especially in the Premier League in a whole, so great is you've got results that every week that are like, wait, what happened there?
yeah.
It's anyone can beat anyone at any point. And so you look at 10 years ago and you're kind of looking up at the top 5 and you're looking to play a team down there in the bottom 5. You're sitting there thinking, it's not too much to worry about. Nowadays, you look at whatever fixture you've got, certainly from a Newcastle's perspective. But I mean, any team would be sitting there going, like just looking at teams saying, "Hey, you know what? We've got to be wary."
Oh, West Ham should be an easy one.
And that's I think that's what they. Anyway, we'll get to that at some point. I'm just trying to breathe and let myself be able to talk about
Fill
that
it
one.
out, baby. Fill it out.
But no, I mean, so Arsenal might sit there and go around there and beat Chelsea and beat Spurs, and who else did you say they were playing?
They've got Brentford and Villa and Sunderland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then they could trip up against Sunderland. That would be my luck. In fact, I've put money on that. That's what's going to happen now. The Mackhams are going to beat them.
It probably so. I mean,
for
I do
sure.
like what you're saying though. That as somebody who's new to the game and watching Premier League, it has been fun this season to realize or to watch and see chaos unfold.
And it is because it wasn't like that a few years back that you had the top 6. You had Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, City, Spurs, and
Liverpool.
if you weren't one of those teams, you might as well just forget it. You're back down there.
We're going to take the season off, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else is fighting for mid-table scraps and hoping to not get sucked into the relegation zone. I mean,
What was your stat about teams that were newly promoted? They're all didn't we say something about that last week, that all teams that have been newly promoted or something like that? Or was it something about, maybe it was the opposite, the teams that have been demoted? Basically what we came to the conclusion of was that, it is anybody's game at this point with the exception of your couple of teams in relegation.
So I can't remember exactly which one you're talking about because I've talked about a couple of things. I've talked about like Sunderland, how many points they have is way up there compared to what it usually is. But I think the other thing I was talking about is like in the last few seasons, the ones that just are newly promoted have went straight down. Well, this is not.
Or certainly
this season's not the same.
Or certainly fighting a relegation battle.
Yeah.
Right to the end. I mean, you've got Sunderland up there playing for Europe right now.
Yeah.
Leeds looking at mid-table, and Burnley.
Right now they're starting to kind of slip a little bit, but I think they'll easily potentially could stay up.
And you're going to see that a little bit. In years past, they've already said that the Premier League is such a higher standard than the Championship that any team coming up there has really got to fight for survival. What usually happens is the first couple of games of the season, they're up for it. They're fighting strong. There's like, we're the new boys in town. We're going to make a showing. But then fatigue drags in and things like that. Now, Sunderland had a crazy spending spree in the summer, and they've just so happened to hit the ground running, and everything seems to be working as it should. I still think they're going to be lower mid-table.
Talking about Sunderland?
Yeah.
It's I think did we say that on the episode last week that they're was that the one that we said we could see them at like 8 or something like that?
Yeah, something around there.
So that's where I see them too. So let's do this. Speaking of teams that are, performing, underperforming, whatever you want to call it, let's dive into Man United versus Nottingham Forest, okay? So I'll recap the game real quick, and then we'll kind of dive into what this means for both sides. So this game started with Casemiro scoring off a header from a corner, and then some lackluster defending from Forest, and then Gibbs White scores off a beautiful header in the 48th, and that ties it up to keep things lively. And then 2 minutes later, they add to the lead with another scrappy effort. And then the second half just seemed to me like missed chance after missed chance for both squads. And then finally, I think it was the 80th minute or 81st minute, Ahmad scores one and lasers it in to give Forest a draw at best. But my question as we talk today is kind of the points of discussion are, what does this mean? This draw, we talked about this when Chris was on the podcast last time. You see a draw as an American fan of the sport, and you're like, oh, a draw, a tie doesn't mean anything. But for me, after watching that game, this tie tells me everything that I need to know about these teams. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. So would y'all rather start with Forest or United? Where do y'all want to start first?
Which one do you want to start with? Well, I guess the first thing, what this means is that the guy that is the Man United fan that has the hair, it means that he can't get a haircut.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing. That's the only thing that matters out of this game, if we're being honest.
Right.
Okay. No one cares who's getting fired or anything like that. The guy can't get a haircut.
Yeah.
Okay?
Haircut watch is still on.
Haircut watch is still on.
So
I think you always looking when you start these games and you think, okay, what I'm looking for, and then halfway through you say, what would I take at this point? I think both teams obviously really wanted to win that game. Man United could have gone second. They've been down there and out, and everyone was laughing at them last year for being down there at 15th. I mean, a win on Saturday, and that would have put Man United second for at least the rest of that afternoon, I think. So I mean, it meant huge things for them. Obviously, for Forest, they've got to climb out the relegation zone.
yeah, that's where I'm at too. That was my question about Forest. Is like, to me, it seems like they've had 3 managers since the season started.
Yes,
and so
Nuno, and then.
What was there was a stat that I saw this weekend that's like they've had just as many wins as they've had managers or something like that.
Yeah, I saw something like that too. So there's been 5 managers that's been sacked this year, and 2 of them came from Forest.
Which is insane.
And one of them, of course, obviously took place over the weekend for Wolves, which obviously at some point that had to happen.
Right.
But, yeah.
What do y'all think about the new manager for? Do y'all have any thoughts on Forest new manager Sean Dyche?
Sean Dyche?
I mean, what I've seen of his interviews. First of all, I texted them over the weekend for American football fans. He reminds me of Dan Campbell from the Lions, just because his interviews are so funny.
They both have very deep voices.
Yeah, they kind of look the same too.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the bald head and the red beard or
That's what
something.
supposedly obviously right now it's kind of chilly in England, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, you usually see that in the games.
yeah, every practice, like I follow Forrest on Instagram, every picture that they've posted from practice, he's had shorts on. And I'm just like, that's electric. I mean, that right there, that fires me up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like he has brought. I mean, he hasn't been there long, but I feel like he's brought this new sense of energy to the club. But the question I'm wondering is, like, is it too late for them to get out of the relegation zone?
No.
I mean, but where do you see them being relegated by the end of the season, or are they going to end up as a mid-table team? What are y'all's thoughts there?
I think they could end up as a mid-table team, in my personal opinion. All they need is a little bit of what's the word I want to look. They just need to go on a little bit of a streak.
Yeah, they need some
Who
momentum.
knows? They might have just started that against Man United.
That was the kind of thought that I had was when I watched the game. I was like, okay, this is a draw, but it feels like a win for Forest in some weird way.
Yeah. I think the fact that they fought back and was 2-1 up at the time.
Yeah.
I think that they will feel they dropped 2 points there at the end.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I thought they were on top second half.
Yeah.
I thought they were the better team.
It is kind of a weird thing to think about. It kind of goes both ways. It feels like a win in some ways and feels like a loss in other ways, which I guess.
Yeah, and it usually equalises. When you give away an equaliser in the last 10 minutes, it's hard. Well, yeah, I would have taken 2-2 at the beginning of the game, but after the way that game went on, I'm kind of, it feels like a gut check.
Yeah.
And especially the way that it equalized, that goal from Ahmad, or however you say his name, was absolutely outstanding. Which was funny because we talked about like a week or two ago, like what's your favorite way or what's your favorite kind of goal that you can get from a set piece? And that was exactly what I said is when a corner comes in, it gets put back out, and then you have a volley to go in. It was exactly what it was. And it was stinking beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. And I feel like it's still such weird gray area for Forest where I can't put my finger on them. But I also can't put my finger on Man United. So I was going to ask the experts here of, like, what do y'all think about Man United? Is it, like, are they having issues? Are they not? I cannot wrap my head around what the state of Man United looks like right now, because every time I think that they're doing well, I see the opposite. Every time I think that they're not doing well, they surprise me. They're just a very confusing squad to me right now. What do you guys think about the state of Man United? What does this draw mean for them, and where do they stand right now?
Well, a draw means that they didn't lose. They've got to take that on and say, hey, we're continuing an undefeated run. What was it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, you were all sitting around here calling for Amaron's head, saying that he was gone.
By Thanksgiving, he's gone.
I think I said by a Halloween.
Like 4 games ago, Man United.
You were wrong. I still have a chance.
We're dropping, and they were down there, and they were no good for anything. They're out of the cup. They're not playing in Europe. They absolutely in dismal disarray. They've turned that around. They're not going to go on this 10-game winning streak by any means. And Forest are a team that are really trying to build something and trying to get that momentum that Man United did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so that just shows you like where we're at in this Premier League right now. You know, they could have gone second Saturday for a few games.
I love the chaos.
And then 4 weeks ago it was everything's gone wrong for Man United. They're in a relegation battle again.
Yeah.
So I mean it's just twists and turns. With what you can expect from Man United, I think for this year and probably next year is that same kind of thing. If they can build, if they can win more games than they did last year, I mean, they don't want to finish bottom half of the table. They want to be up there 8th or above. That for them this year would be a good season because it's an improvement and it's a moving forward. Next year, they'll push for doing better than that. Their ultimate goal is to dominate again. Their ultimate goal is to be up there challenging for the title. They're Man United. That's where they should be. That's why Sesko went there. That's why he chose a team that finished 15th over a team that finished 5th, playing in Champions League. A little bit bitter, yes, I am. The fact that he's gone out there and flopped a little bit, I'm absolutely
Yeah, I'm about to
loving.
say you're a little happy. Kind of going off like what you were asking, like should they be worried or anything? I think that was just based on the game. I think things are starting to click. For
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
Things are absolutely starting to click for them. The only thing, in my opinion, that's not clicking is Seshko, and I think if he ever does, I think they're going to be extremely dangerous because you have Mabumo, he's really starting to click. Cunha, he clicked a little bit last week. He wasn't as influential on the game this week. But I think if you get those two really starting to, contribute to Man United's game, and especially Seshko up at the top, they're gonna be pretty stinging good.
Well, the thing is with Maburmo is he's enjoying himself at the minute.
He is. Yeah.
He's having fun. Seshko's not because he's
No.
not scoring.
No.
And he sometimes looks like he's flapping at balls and where he's not getting behind them and actually just getting everything in them. He looks weak right now. To me, he looks too weak for the Premier League.
Yeah.
He might prove me wrong. I hope he doesn't. But
there was 1 second where I was kind of impressed with him during the game. I know that you watched the game when the ball fell to his feet. I don't know if someone passed it or if it just fell to his feet, and he took a very quick shot.
Mm-hmm. And that's signs of him getting there.
I'm about to say the amount of power that came from that shot. Like if it was on target, that would have been in the back of the net because it had so much speed to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he got that off his foot so quickly was very impressive to me.
That's what you want to see from your striker, though, is getting that first time shot off. That's what Haaland done impressing when he played Bundesliga. He had that ability to not take a touch or get it under control. Just first time, bang.
So kind of going back to the game real quick. Let's just kind of look at the goals just for a second. So the first one was very controversial. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it went from it looked like it had went out, okay, or it looked like it didn't go out, but they blew the whistle that it went out and that it was a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I knew that ball was not out. I was texting you that ball is not out, and of course, I wanted to be the referee in that situation. Or I wanted to know what was going through the referee's mind in that situation, or especially after the game if he saw that. I don't think that ball is out because obviously it goes to a corner kick. Casemiro scores off the corner. Mm-hmm. This is the second week in a row that this has happened to Forest. And so, I mean, that's got to be frustrating. And then I guess my question about it, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that controversy here in a second. My thing is because I've seen a lot of posts about it. Why does VAR not look at those? Is it because they don't want to stop every aspect of the game just to review it? Is that why you think it is? I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't want VAR. I don't like VAR. I'm not a fan of VAR.
Well, that's why I wanted us to kind of go in this too.
So I'm almost on the point though that if you're going to stop it for everything else, then why not stop it for this?
Yeah.
If the ball had stayed in and was coming back and it coincidentally finished like a goal, like we did against Arsenal a few years ago with that goal, then VAR are going to spend 5 minutes looking at it. Yeah. If there was a foul at one end of the field and the ball came straight back down, VAR is going to spend 5 minutes looking at that. Yeah. To see if it was a potential foul before the build-up of the play. I mean, that ball clearly didn't go out. And I'm gonna go over that a little bit more after we finish with this game. But that ball was clearly in. I mean, anyone could see it was still in.
I say we dive into it. Show it. I want to see it. Let's talk about it. So
break it out.
Let's break it out. All right, here we go.
All right, so
don't worry, everybody. The toilet paper is coming out.
I've got my loo roll here. This is going to draw a good line.
Your what roll?
My loo roll.
Your loo roll.
So here's my goal line.
Is this used?
Yeah, this came straight out of the faculty restroom. So there's my goal line, right? So what angle I want you to look at is the kind of angle that the referee would have been looking at from this end. Okay? So the rule is, or the way it's written is the entire ball has to be over the entire line. So this is infield, that is outfield, That's the back end of the line. So this entire ball, including its curvature, has to be behind the line. All right, so when the ball is here, obviously it's still in.
Yep.
You can see that it's still in. From this angle, this is the one we're looking at. If you're seeing that as an AR, are you calling that in or out?
From there,
Yeah, this is out of bounds, this is in bounds.
it's in.
But if you're looking at it down that line,
Oh, down the line, probably out.
that's what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people are commenting on is this area right here. Because they can see from here, they can see the field behind the ball.
Yeah.
But then what you're going to do is as you look over that ball, so if you bring the camera over that ball,
From there, it looks.
from that angle, and that's the angle that counts. When you do goal line technology, that's what you see, that's what they look at.
It's all based on the
You've
angle.
got all that. So a ball that goes out is actually at this point here. So at that point is when the ball is finally only just out.
Yeah.
But when you look down the line, it looks like it's 5 yards out.
Yeah.
So if you're looking down that line and you see any part of this ball that looking like it's going over the curvature of the ball, ball's still in.
Yeah.
That's the letter of the law. That's the way it's written. Did you get that good on video?
I think it did.
So,
Can I take that toilet paper home?
but I mean, I always suggested, because I mean the thing is, I mean I've been through these referee courses and stuff over here. A lot of the times we're focusing on ignoring that because it happens, 50 times a game.
Yeah.
Ball goes in, ball goes out.
Right.
A lot of times you'll see them running down the line, parents screaming, the ball's out, the ball went out, the ball went out. Referee courses I've been on focus on the correct angle to hold the flag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. This is at youth level. This is not referee in the Premier League. This is refereeing 10-year-olds.
What angle to hold the flag?
We ignore that, but we work on, all right, when you blow the whistle, this is how many seconds you blow the whistle for. This is the angle you hold your flag at for offside. Make sure you do a quick shit. I mean, it's all that motion.
So
we're learning the way to flag things, but not why we're flagging.
Nothing that you're not learning or implementing anything that deals with the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like more like
And then
color guard or something like that,
There'd
right?
be like a question of what would happen if someone was stepping up to take a penalty and the goalkeeper pulled his boot off and threw it at the ball and deflected it. What would be the call? And
How long do you blow the whistle, though? That's the question.
Yes. So I mean, I feel like that's one of those things. If you could sit there and do that demonstration I've just done, put that ball on the very edge of that line, and then tell your referees that were training to look at it from down that line, from that angle, and say that is what it looks like when it is out of bounds.
Right.
The whole idea of the game, everything that we work toward, why it's called the beautiful game, is the flow. It's not stop. VAR is destroying that. It's you can't celebrate a goal anymore. You got to sit there and go yes, all right. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you got to wait for VAR to check it, and then you got to wait, and if they might check 3 or 4 different things. It's ball in the back of the net. Quick look over to the lino to make sure the flag's down, and then away we go, celebration.
So I do remember that Arsenal Newcastle game where the ball looked like it was out, and I can't remember it like that good, but they looked at something else, like a potential foul in the box. They looked at another thing, and then the final thing was they looked to see if the ball was out.
Yeah.
And it was literally about
It was like
10 minutes.
one thing after another
It was
after
like
another.
10 minutes long that they had to check this VAR.
And like you said, it absolutely disrupts the flow of the game.
And it does. It's awful.
I'm not, anti-technology or anti-this, whatever.
I very much am. Hate technology.
But I see the way that it can disrupt, and you can kind of like, I think the term is like pin down the wings of the butterfly. When you're trying to dissect a butterfly, you're taking away the one thing that makes it cool, is that it can fly. And so it's like, at some point there has to be a line that's drawn.
And we're destroying the flow because we're not covering the right things. If you want to watch how VAR should run, it works better in Europe, in the rest of the European games. It works better in the World Cup. It works, for some reason, the Premier League have just taken it and obliterated it.
Yeah.
I hate the term, Americanized it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
but
we might as well have timeouts and water breaks while VAR checks and then go to commercials.
yeah, I mean,
it's
that's what I see from an American standpoint. Is it is very similar to where we're headed with other sports now. When you watch college football or professional football, it's like every other play we're having to stop and check the video board and the video replay. Oh, was his foot in? Was it not?
Yeah.
At some point, I think the beauty about sports is the imperfection of the sport and being able to just be like, having those stories to tell and, 20 years later down the road when we get the video replay and being able to go, oh, wow, that actually was out. But, there's something cool about that to me, those little imperfections that make the game a game.
Well, here's the thing, too, is here'd be my question is that taking away from your Premier League refs, like in how like the players react and interact with them? Like, do they give them the respect that Premier League refs used to get? Probably not, considering it almost always kind of falls more on VAR. Yeah. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but
you used to be able to respect the fact that human error occurred.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the replay shows that it was offside, but the referee or the AR didn't flag for the offside, you kind of accepted that. Now, West Ham scored a goal that was disallowed against us on Sunday for that much of a toe. If the guy was wearing smaller boots, he would have been onside. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
we've got to stop calling that offside. That's
No, yeah, there's got to be some kind of feel for what's going on. It seems too much like a science experiment now, more than like a game that we're watching.
I mean, if we can't decide in one frame, play on.
Exactly.
And that's where we've taken away from the game. And that goes back to that assistant referee that flagged the corner that day. Is like, you're supposed to flag only if there is no doubt in your mind. The benefit of the doubt always stays to play on, balls in play. Let's go.
Yeah, let's just watch the game as it happens.
Saw that ball the way he did, and between the goal, because he was on the other side, so he's seen that through the goal, through however many players there were at that point, and he has seen in that game speed as well, and he's saying, "Yep, without doubt in my mind, that ball went out." Because he looked down that line and he saw that little patch of grass.
See, that's to me, if you're going to use VAR, the only way that it works effectively is that if you don't slow-mo it. If you can watch it back at the speed of play and not slow it down frame by frame by frame, and just watch it and then make a decision. Give them no context, watch it. What decision would you have made? That's the only way that VAR works, is to get a second look at it from other angles but still at game speed, so that you're not spending 20 minutes trying to decide if somebody's toe was over the line or not. So,
But I do have to say, and because I would have done the same thing. Everyone would have done the same thing, no matter which team they supported. If you were the Man United in that scenario, or if you were in the Forest that scenario, we can sit there and talk about that all day long. The fact, though, is that corner came in and Nottingham Forest did not defend it.
Yeah, they did not.
And so when you're looking at what to blame for that first goal, it's like, yes, it was aggravating. For the second week in a row, we've had this decision go against us. But for the second week in a row, it's cost them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can do something about one of those scenarios as Sean Dyche. And I'm sure he's going to be like, look, things aren't always going to go your way. You can't control. Only worry about the things that you can control. We can't control what the referee called. We absolutely can control how we defended that corner.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's I think, and Sean Dyche is the kind of person that will bring that to them a little bit more.
Yeah.
I laughed when they got Ange, to be honest, after sacking Nuno, and they brought Ange in. I was like, wow, because he done so well at Tottenham.
Well, you say something about Nuno and things not going your way. I think it's time for us to dive into West Ham versus Newcastle.
No, I don't want to. I'm not ready.
So I'll recap the game, and then we'll dive in.
Rated PG, Chris.
Yeah. Deep breaths for everyone involved. So, obviously, the early goal from Jacob Murphy in the fourth minute. I remember Chris, when he was on the podcast last time, he talked about Jacob Murphy, right? Is that one of your
superstar?
Yeah.
Well, what we
Murphy.
talked about is
Murphy for England.
yeah. What we talked about is the last couple of seasons. Anytime Murphy was not doing so hot, Chris would say some very colorful language toward Murphy, and then that's usually when Murphy would do well. Well, now that Murphy's actually kind of doing pretty well, I'm pretty sure he's got a Jacob Murphy tattoo on his back, and I haven't seen it, and I don't want to see it, but I'm sure he does.
No, I got Willock.
I'm sure it's Willock, yeah.
So Jacob Murphy scores early in the fourth, and then an overturned penalty in the 11th for Bowen. And then from my perspective as a non-biased fan, it seemed like it was all West Ham from that point on, with goals from Paqueta, an own goal from Botman, and then a last-minute death blow from Susik. I'm just going to let you guys ramble for a second.
It's going to be longer than a second, brother.
So go ahead. Who wants to take the floor first?
Well, let me take the floor first because I know I won't get a word in if I don't. So, so the first 4 minutes were very eventful, and it was looking very good for Newcastle. So Bowen did go down, and he took an incredible shot, but it hit the uprights. Or what do y'all call the post? Sorry, I'm about to get absolutely roasted for calling it the uprights.
Uprights. Sorry, I was still thinking about Bowen.
Yeah, so Bowen took a shot, hit the post, bounced off, and then we pretty much go all the way down, and Murphy scores our one and only goal in the first 4 minutes. So that was a very good game in the first 4 minutes, and then it went south very quickly. But you did mention there for a second it looked like there was going to be a penalty for Bowen. Thanks to Chow. But because this is the only time I'm thankful for VAR is they looked at it and they did have to slow it down to see where Chow's big toe just happened to.
I mean, it was a good tackle. I mean,
it was, but they had to really slow it down.
I mean,
it was, but they did have to slow it down because he barely touched the ball. It kind of went back to when we were playing Arsenal and Nick Pope took out Gyökeres, and so. But yeah, it was not a good game as a Newcastle fan.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, man. Put the ball away.
Is Newcastle, the question I have on the sheet says, is Newcastle crumbling? What are they? Is it full-blown panic attack mode yet, or are we?
It was a terrible game.
It was awful.
Let me try and I've got to choose my words cleverly, tactfully.
It's taking him a hot minute.
So I mean, I've talked to my dad before the game, and we're both nervous about it. We know what it's like to be Newcastle fans anyway. Yeah, you know, West Ham going into this game with this record of not winning a home game since February, I think it was something ridiculous like that. And the commentator couldn't say that enough. So I'm already saying, well, that's keep talking. My dad is convinced that we can't win in green. It's absolutely. I mean,
I've seen that a lot. So at lunch, you and Ridge and Daly, y'all love the green uniforms. They are a curse to Newcastle United.
Mm-hmm.
We can't win.
It's absolutely. I mean, the first thing and he was not choosing his words politely. Was saying about, we're in the green jerseys again. We might as well turn the TV off.
Who chooses that? Who decides who wears what uniform?
Obviously,
kit?
You wear your home kit. And it used to be you wore your second kit if it clashed, if your home kit clashed with the other teams. Again, we've Americanized it. So if you go away now, you wear an away shirt. Never used to be like that. It's all money now. It's like, hey, I'm that kit sponsor. I want to get my shows in. I'm not sure who actually decides, okay, we're going to wear the white one today, we're going to wear the green one tomorrow, and then we're going to wear the blue and maroon one another day. And I mean, you know, you'd have 3 kits tops. And it's another way to spend to sell these $150 jerseys. Or shirts, should I say, me shirts. So we've gone into this game against West Ham. Obviously, they're struggling. They've been terrible all season long. We're actually starting to fly. We're actually starting to find ourselves a little bit. We've picked up, you know, several wins on the trot in all competitions. Looking good in Europe. We still have things we've got to work on. But anyway, we've gone into against West Ham. I think we've just sat there and I completely underestimated them. We've gone 1-0 up and we've gone, easy.
Yeah, kind of just like lulled to
Everything's
sleep.
falling into place. West Ham are going to crumble now. We're going to stroll on. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, 1-0. Baby, this is going to be 6. This is where we make a statement.
We made one, baby.
We did make one. We were terrible from there. And I don't say this a lot. I mean, I do at that time. At the time when I'm watching the game, I'm usually telling them how terrible they are. But usually after a little bit, after a cup of tea or two after the game, I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? Yeah, it wasn't too bad. But I mean, I woke up this morning going, you know what? We were just bad.
It was very discouraging.
Alarm bells, like
Yeah.
you know, we're 1-0 up. Gordon is prancing around, gives the ball away, and they come straight down the field and almost get that penalty. That should have been a wake up call.
Yeah.
That should have been get that ball off your foot quicker. Move in, and then there was one point, and it would have been in the first half because Gordon went off at half time. They knocked the ball over, and it was a Pope launch through it, like he did to Barnes, and all Gordon's got to do is beat that. He's beating the defender.
Yeah.
And then he wants to is 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, but instead of cutting in, going to the box as prime Gordon would have done, because it's fast. Gordon's a quick player.
Yeah.
He's trying to take that one defender over into the sideline to cross the ball into someone that's not even coming in.
I say that we didn't have anybody in the box.
I'm sitting there at the time saying, why not cut across the defender at this point and go directly to the box? But we're trying to build up from down there. But why?
Well, and that's the thing is, I think out of all of our wingers right now, that's why Murphy is doing so well. Is he's not afraid to cut in and take a shot.
Checking in and taking shots and putting 2 goals away.
Gordon, Barnes, Elanga, it's like they just want to stay on that line. Barnes will sometimes kind of come in, but Gordon and Elanga, oh my gosh, I love Elanga to death, but he's got amazing pace. But he loses the ball more than a kid at recess.
Did you see the stat about, y'all were talking about crosses? Did you see the stat about crosses? In the game against West Ham, they had Newcastle tried 27 times to cross the ball.
Not a single one.
2 completed out of the 27 is what they gave it the stat for.
And again, I do not want to just bash Newcastle United, but I am a firm believer in this. Shut up. We are one of the worst teams this season at crosses. We'll just send it in, and it's nowhere near anyone. Unless it's coming from a corner. Like, if we're just bringing the ball down and we try to cross it, unless it's Murphy. Murphy's crosses are somewhat – if you could look at if the stat would show, like, who completed those 2, it probably was Murphy.
So if you take the 2 goals that West Ham scored, all right, so the first one, and I've already been screaming at Pope for this, why he has suddenly decided he is not catching a ball. I mean, I don't know. He's fisting everything out, and he's not fisting them out well either. You know, if you're going to fist that ball out, it better be going right out into the halfway line, into the bleachers and everything. You can't fist it out and wind the ball up at the edge of the area. Straight to Paquetá. Not the best shot in the world. I mean, they were screaming about it on TV at first, but I mean, it looked better than what it was. When you looked at the replay, it kind of just dips below.
That's right. It was definitely savable. And you could tell by the way that all the other Newcastle defenders looked at Pope whenever it went.
But the thing is that ball's coming from across around the 6-yard box. And I'm sitting there at that point saying, and he's already messed this up once and fisted out to someone and it almost cost us. And that ball's come in, and instead of just letting that ball come into his body, bang, stop, all right, now we move out. And I mean, he doesn't even make good contact with the ball. No. It flies out to the edge of the 18 there. Paquetá just smashes it back in 1-1.
I did notice that every time he punched the ball, it was like something was wrong with his.
And
like his hand was broken or something.
Yeah, he looked so awkward doing it. Like he's never fisted a ball in his life. It's just like.
He is very awkward on something. And that's the thing is, some weeks he looks like he could be the England starter during the World Cup, and then some weeks it looks like he couldn't even start for
So, I mean,
AYSO.
and then the
Local
second
team.
goal. I mean, the second goal showed a little bit of fatigue, but again, it's Gordon being lazy. Burn trying to play striker, I think, at some point was nowhere to be seen. And then they've broken down the side, and that's when the cross came in. And with Sven Botman, it was one of those that ball could have gone anywhere. He's just put his body in front of it, just trying to get the deflection right, send it out for a corner, and it's just gone in. So unlucky there, but again, it's something we gave away. You see when they broke, Gordon and Burton are completely out of the picture.
Yeah.
So who does Newcastle have coming up in Premier League? Is it
So we've got Brentford. next week.
Okay, that should be a win, right?
No,
Well,
we've had this discussion.
It should be.
We'll probably be in,
But West Ham should have been one.
we're probably
too.
going to be in the green shirts, so that's we're playing on the road. It's in London again.
And just so and this is what half of Chris's in my conversations every single week is okay. So here's the games coming up. Here's the ones that we should win. But then the second half of the conversation is we can go and we can have an incredible game against a Liverpool, a Man City. Last week we beat Tottenham. Then half of our team wasn't even our original starters in the Carabao Cup. Beat them 2-0. Wasn't it 2-0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, beat them 2-0. We go to West Ham, who is in relegation zone, and I can't say that on the screen. We get beat bad. But that's how Newcastle is.
I mean, we got embarrassed.
Okay, so to swap it up then, let's get off.
You can swap it up however you want.
Yeah.
We're not looking good.
I do want to finish on one thing though on this. So it was a frustrating first half, and I'll wrap this up, and then if Connor has anything else to say, he can. But my disappointment was the second half. We had a bad first half. With fair enough, that happens. Wake up, get in the changing room at half time, let Eddie Howe give him a good frolicking. Really get into them and say, right, second half, we've got to come out. We've got to come out. We're 2-1 down. He made alterations I don't think he needed to make.
Yeah.
He had to bring Gordon off. I love that. But why not even swap with Barnes?
Yeah. Instead, you sent Joe over
Instead,
there.
we've absolutely switched everything around. We've got Murphy playing fullback. We've got
Joe playing
wing. It's everything's just gone weird. I think what he brought Langer on. What was that later?
That was later. No, he brought
he's
Ramsey on
Ramsey on and Osula on.
and Cher on, didn't
Yeah.
he? I don't know if those were all at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
there
it.
three
It was
subs,
Cher.
and all of a sudden everyone's playing out of position, and we possessed it. I mean, at this point, West Ham must have watched their videos because they knew how we struggle. They've dropped everyone back. They've not played. They're playing completely parking the bus a little bit. We struggle with that. But what gets me is we're coming out on that game and we're saying we're playing West Ham. Let's hammer down now. We're 2-1 down. We've had a bad first half. Let's go out there and just get it to them. And we don't get a shot on goal until the 89th minute. Not a shot on goal.
Yeah.
We
Not
don't
gonna
ask
win
the
that way.
goalkeeper to do anything.
Right. Well, I looked at the stats too. You're talking about possession over the course of the whole game. Newcastle possessed 63% of the time. So y'all had the ball. It's
Yeah.
just we weren't doing
It was
anything with it.
Well, that's what it's going back to what Chris was talking about. If it's a team like a West Ham or like a Fulham, whenever we start to push that ball up, if they bring everybody back and they just kind of sit there and they're kind of just filling all the gaps, we don't know what to do with it. We'll just keep passing around on the outside. The ball will never get put into the center. You can know that Voltamata is not going to get the ball because unless we do a cross, but you looked at the stats on the crosses. So that's pretty much how we will have the possession the whole time. We'll just keep sending it around the outside, and then we'll try to cross it in, and it doesn't get to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're really struggling.
Yep.
In my opinion.
I said I wanted that would be my last comment. I am going to finish on this because I could sit there and I could do this for hours, and I could bring up point after point after point, and I'll bore you both by the end of that. So I just want to finish it up by saying, hey, well done, West Ham. They outplayed us. They were the better team on the day, and they deserve to win.
I agree. That's what I was gonna say. It's like as much as you hate to say it, West Ham.
It does that hurt. I feel.
I mean, yeah, it was a great game by them. So
At some point, they needed that win. The unfortunate part is it was the team that we go for.
yeah, that's definitely the case. So let's take a break real quick. We'll come back and play a game, and then we'll call it quits for the day. Okay, before we end things off today, let's play a quick game. This game is called Buy One, Bench One, Boot One. We're going to have a list of 3 players, and then we'll go around and decide who we would buy stock in, so who we want starting for us, who we would bench, and then who we would kick off the team or sell or trade or whatever. So we'll start off with what we call our superstar category. Our 3 options are Haaland, Salah, and Saka. Who are you buying? Who are you benching? And who are you booting?
Haaland, Saka, and
Salah.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
No, you go your head.
So you're thinking real hard on this one. Obviously, for superstars, I'm going to buy Haaland or play Haaland, however we want to say this. Bench Saka and boot Salah.
That was mine exactly. What's your reasoning for it?
Well, Haaland, he has 13 goals up to this point, in which we really didn't get to talk about a lot of other games, but obviously he had an outstanding game this week with 2 goals. So, again, he's up to 13 goals on the season. I mean, there's nothing really other than that you need to say. I guess, kind of getting off topic just for a second. Again, I think Man City should be worried if he does get injured because, again, he is the star of the show right now. Saka, I'm going to bench only because I really like Saka. I think he's a very good player in the sense that he really knows how to move the ball, but also you never know like what he's going to do next, in my opinion. And so I think he really brings a lot to the game. And then Salah, I'm going to boot only because as so far this season, he really hasn't lived up to who he is and how he should be playing. Now, he scored this week for Liverpool, so like is there a chance that he might be finding form? Potentially. But as of right now, I'm going to buy Haaland, bench Saka, and boot Salah.
Okay, mine is the same. So I would buy Haaland. He's a superstar. You'd be dumb not to buy stock in him right now.
Yeah.
He is the player of the Premier League right now, as far as like a casual fan would go. I'm gonna bench Saka and boot Salah. The only reason I would boot Salah, that was a really tough decision, but I would boot Salah just because of an age thing. And I'm not trying to be an ageist here, but 34 versus 29. I feel like there's more of a ceiling for Saka to potentially grow to be a new player. He's somebody that you could invest in, but he's somebody that, still needs to get his footing above him to take it to that next level. And right now, Salah just seems like the old guy at the party that just, he's the guy that I feel like he's got potential. He can do great things, but if I had to boot one out of those 3, that would be what I would do. What you got, Chris? Who do you think?
Well, I don't like any 3 of them. For all different reasons, really. I mean, I don't like Haaland's attitude. I think he's getting way too above his britches. So to humble Haaland, I am going to bench him.
Nice.
So then that leaves Saka or Salah. I think Mo Salah's the better player right now. I think Saka is a bit. But then you bring up the age as well. That makes a huge difference.
But Saka does struggle with injuries.
Well, he screams like a girl when he goes down. I mean, I can't stand. I mean, and I hate that part of him. He's a good player and he's really quick and everything. But every time he gets shoved, you hear ah as he falls, and it's not necessary. So, but then, so I think Salah is the Yeah, but then his age. So I'm going to have a word. I'm going to have a word with Saka, and I say, look, if you cry like a baby, I've got big Haaland coming on to take over. So you better, stand up and be a man.
So
So it's all right. So I'm playing Saka,
okay.
benching Haaland, and I'm dropping Mo Salah
Okay.
purely
Nice.
for his age.
It was a tough decision.
I think that was a great way of explaining all of it. I think that was a great touch.
Inside the mind of the manager, right there. That's what we got. That was good. That's what I like about this. This is a good game to play. So let's keep it rolling. All right. So now we're in the midfield zone.
This
all
will
right.
be good.
All right. So your three options: buy, bench, or boot. You've got Palmer, Foden, and Gordon. So you've got Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, and Anthony Gordon. Who wants to go first? Connor, you want to go first?
Yeah, just to let.
Well, I think you've seen these already, haven't you? You know who the players are.
Well, we came up with them right before you got in here. I promise.
Trip Chris up with this one.
I did throw Gordon out there because I wanted to hear your explanation of who you pick on this one. Obviously, I'm gonna buy Palmer. Gosh, this is really hard. If Gordon was in form, I definitely would say bench Gordon and then boot Foden. But Gordon, I forgot how many. It's been like 18 games without having some type of goal contribution. So
I mean, he's scoring in the Champions League. Like,
well, yeah, but it talking about in the Premier League, I think is what it was. Yes, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy Palmer. I will bench Gordon, and I'm going to boot Foden. Phil Foden is a fantastic player, but over the last season, almost couple seasons, I feel like he's really kind of went down in form. And that's more of the fact that I think he did struggle with some injury last season, but also Man City has a lot of depth that they can use. And so I'm going to go Palmer, Gordon, Foden.
I mean, if it all boils down to Haaland anyways, nobody else really matters on Man City according to us. So that's why I'm going to buy Palmer. I'm going to boot Foden, and I'm going to bench Gordon because I think Palmer is probably the best player out of the three.
For sure.
And then nobody but Haaland on Man City matters anyways. So that's my hot take for the day at least.
I'm just ready for Palmer to get back and see what he can do.
You like Palmer, don't you?
I do like
You
Palmer.
want to get him on your back of your Newcastle shirt or something?
No, I don't have enough
Going
money.
on about his Palmer this, Palmer that. I'm surprised you ain't a Chelsea fan by now.
Who have you got, Chris?
All right.
I'm going to buy Palmer.
I'm going to drop Palmer. I don't trust his hair.
Oh, boy. That's
All right, so I'm going to start with Gordon, obviously our own player. He has had it's just not firing in the Premier League right now. There's actually a really good pick because all three of them, I mean, Foden's kind of the same way. Foden 2 years ago, he'd be my first on my team sheet out of anyone in the Premier League. He's not quite had it kind of since the European Cup last year.
yeah.
He's kind of dropped off the scale a little bit with the downfall of Man City, but certainly 2 or 3 years ago he was up there. This is tough. I'm not starting Gordon. He's got to get his hair cut. He's got to figure himself out a little bit.
All these are based off haircuts.
Well, you got one.
Phil
with
Foden has had the same haircut since he was 2. So.
And I trust that. It's a good, proper, sensible haircut. You got Palmer's this line, and then we won't get into Gordon's with his headband and blonde frills. All right, so I'm going to keep Palmer. I'm going to play. Yeah, I'm going to invest in Palmer. I think he's futuristic. The other two are kind of skittish. I can't drop Gordon. It's Newcastle. He's got to be benched, saying sort yourself out. And then sorry, Foden. I think the world of you. I think you're a great player. I think you can come back and really show the Premier League something again. But for right now, you're just not quite there.
It's good. All right, let's do defense now. We've got Van Dijk, Gabriel, and Munoz. So Van Dijk from Liverpool, Gabriel from Arsenal, and Munoz from Crystal Palace. I'll start. I've got Van Dijk is Actually, I'm not going to start. I don't know where my head's at yet. I'm going to let somebody else go.
So I guess that's up to me because Chris is over here throwing
Contemplating.
dice out, trying to
Well,
figure out.
I'm thinking the hairstyles of.
For me, this is really hard.
Wait, I'll go. I remember now. I couldn't
Okay.
get my thoughts together.
Okay,
but now I
good, because
remember.
I'm really
All
struggling.
right, so I will buy Gabriel because no other reason than he plays for Arsenal and he can score and he's great and he seems like, if you're playing for the best team in the league, you got to be doing something right. Okay. I do not trust. I don't know what it is about Liverpool's defense. They seem like a weak spot to me.
Yep.
So I'm going to boot Van Dijk. I think he's a great player. He's probably one of the better defenders in the league, if not the best defender in the league. But for some reason, right now for Liverpool, there seems to be some kind of disconnect. So I will boot him, and so that means that I bench Munoz. So I've got Gabriel from Arsenal as my buy player. Munoz is who I'm going to bench, and then Van Dijk is who I'm going to boot.
All right, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit from you. I am gonna buy Gabriel. I'm going to bench Van Dijk and then boot Munoz. Only reason, so like you said, I do believe that Van Dijk is one of the best defenders in the Premier League right now. I don't think it's his fault that Liverpool's defense looks like what's going on there. It's not his fault. I think he is actually the one that is trying to do everything he can to fix it. But the issue is at this moment, Liverpool does not have good fullbacks. Like they don't have a set fullback on either side. And so, like whenever Gyökeres has been in, I think it's more Van Dijk is trying to kind of compensate for Gyökeres, and he's trying to like watch his back because things are getting right past him. So I'm going to go buy Gabriel, bench Van Dijk, and then boot Munoz.
Yeah. I don't think Nunez is in the same caliber as Van Dijk and Gabriel.
I think he's having an incredible season. I think he's a
Yes.
great defender,
Yeah, I don't
but
think
he's not in
in-
the same caliber.
So I'm dropping him. So again, you're two players that I don't like. Van Dijk. All right. So he's invented this new defensive stance of the kind of thing that he done a couple of weeks ago, and so that's important. he is. So Van Dijk is off the money right now. Is definitely getting benched, saying, "Hey, maybe you need a rest, maybe you need something." I don't know. Gabriel's the man on form. Gabriel's the man that's, although he can't stand up against a Newcastle attacker, he goes down every time there's.
I was about to say, I'm really surprised that you're saying that, considering how he acted during the
Yeah.
Arsenal
Well,
Newcastle game.
I mean, he can't stand a player to put any kind of weight on him. He thinks the game's a non-contact sport. So he needs a good talking to, Gabriel. You're not playing for Arteta now. We actually play the game.
You're playing for Chris Urquhart.
Yeah. We play tough man rules. You stand up and you don't do anything to embarrass me, like flopping. So yeah, Gabriel, after a stern talking to, is my starter. Van Dijk, I can't get on with that new defensive pose stand that you couldn't defend the other day. You're on the bench to think about your errors, and Nunez come back in a couple of years.
Is that
Alright.
it?
That's me. I think that's
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
buy bench.
Did we have the
So-
goalkeepers?
Yes, we have goalkeepers.
Oh,
so
no.
let's do one more.
This is the last thing.
Yes. All right. So last one. You've got in keep. You've got Raya, you've got Vicario, and you've got Donnarumma. Raya, Vicario, Donnarumma. I'll let you go first, Connor.
So Raya, Donnarumma, and who else?
Vicario. Yeah, Vicario.
You pull these names out.
The what?
I said, how do you pull these names out?
Because they're the ones
Raya.
at the top right now.
So on my sheet, I have buy who did I say? Vicario, just solely based on his performance last week. I know they scored one against, was it Chelsea scored one against them?
Yeah.
He had a lot of great saves. From what I see, he's a great keeper.
He has done really well this season.
And then I said to bench Donnarumma and to boot Raya. Now, I can't tell you why I said that because I don't have any notes, but in the moment when I was on the top of my head, that's what I said. So that'll give you a...
So I'm going to say start Raya just because for the last few seasons he has been on it. He's always at least like top 3 goalkeepers in the league. He's very good at saving them. Obviously, they have seven clean sheets in a row. Now, obviously, he gets a lot of help from that amazing back line that Arsenal has. But I think I'm definitely going to buy him. I think I'm going to bench Vicario. He has had an outstanding season. They are coming up short a couple times, like here and there. But I don't think that's his fault. I think it's more of the attack aspect for Tottenham. I think he's playing lights out. And then Donnarumma, I think is a great goalkeeper, but I'm going to boot him only because I would rather take the other 2. I think they're all 3 of them are great in net, but that's my 3 is Raya, Vicario, and Donnarumma.
Yeah, I'm keeping Raya. That's my. I think he's the best goalkeeper there.
Oh, I remember why I got rid of him now. Because you don't need him because you have the whole line of Arsenal's defense. So
That's true, too.
you could just put him on the bench or boot him and he'd be fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the thing is sometimes when your defense is so good, you completely switch off. Raya in like season in, season out has proved that he can stand up. And, you know, one thing that even when Arsenal aren't playing well on scoring goals is they defend well. They win games 1-0. They you know, and over the last kind of 3 or 4 seasons, they've been known for that a little bit. So keeping him, that's my starter. The other 2, the Tottenham goalkeeper and the
Man City,
I
Vicario
haven't
and
watched much of Man
Donnarumma.
City this year.
He looks like he's about 45, but he's actually, I think, 26.
Something like that,
Yeah. But he looks like he's older than you are.
Benjamin Button syndrome.
Yeah. We're going to be here all day.
No. I'm benching him and I'm getting rid of the Spurs keeper.
Okay, so
You're benching Donnarumma.
give me y'all's 3 one more time so I can remember. So you've got who, Connor?
I have buying Raya, and then benching Vicario, and then booting Donnarumma.
Okay. And then Chris?
Keeping Raya. Oh, that's my starter. And then
Benching Donnarumma.
benching Donnarumma and
Vicario's
getting booted.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Premiere Period. Thanks for watching. Be sure to do all the cool YouTube-y things and subscribe.
Here we go.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Have a
Peace
good
out.
one.
See ya.
Get the kettle on.
Get the kettle.